This is Joshua.
Josh too.
And today, well, here's the thing. This was originally meant to be an actual video review, but we've had some technical difficulties here. We've been dealing with battery issues on my camera, which I've suffered through a bit before. In fact, now I'm thinking about getting a new camera because it's just like done dealing with it.
Yeah.
So we just decided to do something a little bit different, which we'd never done, and we decided to make this review into a podcast review, actually. And today we're going to be returning to my Phantasm review series, and the review we're going to do today is for Phantasm II from 1988.
For 10 years, the secret of Perigord Cemetery has remained a mystery. Now, 3 innocent people are about to discover the ultimate evil.
We've got to warn people.
This summer, the brawl is back. Phantasm II.
It's only a dream.
No, it's not.
Rated R.
Phantasm II stars James LeGros, Reggie Bannister, Angus Grimm, Paula Irvine, I think? Irvine? Samantha Phillips, Kenneth Tyga, I think? And it's directed by Don Coscarelli. The plot of Phantasm II is that years later, after surviving his encounter with the sinister tall man, portrayed by Angus Grimm, Mike, portrayed by this time by James LeGros and not Michael A. Baldwin, now a mental patient, still has nightmares about the evil, gaunt mortician. Upon being released from the institution, Mike and his friend Reggie, portrayed by Reggie Bannister, sets out to track down the tall man and end his murderous and macabre practices. Also involved is Liz, portrayed by Paula Irvine, a pretty young woman who has a psychic connection to both Mike and the tall man. Before we get on to the review, what's your history with this series?
The first one was...
Yeah, that's about mine too, but you kind of had a different view of the first one, honestly.
A little bit.
Well, here's the thing. Joshua here, he liked the first one fine,
Yeah.
but you didn't thought it was anything that great or anything.
Yeah, it was kind of just okay. I mean, it was good. It just wasn't like...
Up there,
Yeah.
really. Like you thought I think you said the concepts were pretty cool on that.
Yeah.
It did show potential for
Right.
being something great.
Right. I didn't like the way... I think I had issues with the way it was shot.
Huh.
If I remember.
I actually liked how it was shot too.
Did you? Kind of
Yeah,
a
like-
simplistic view?
Well, and only that too, it had pretty good cinematography. Actually, if you were to go back and watch the remastered version, especially on this TV, it looks really good.
Okay, well, see, when the last time I've seen it, we had that crappy TV at the office.
Yeah, I think that's probably why.
Yeah,
But if you were to watch like this on this TV, or even my TV upstairs,
it's pretty good.
It's pretty good. Yeah, I really liked the first one. I did have a few issues here and there, but I did like it. And I've never seen any of the sequels until now. It's been about a year since I reviewed the first one, so I think it's about time for us to get to this one. So we do have some thoughts on it, so let's just move right into that.
Came to chew bubble gum or kick ass, and it was all out of bubble gum. Ha ha! Alright.
Yeah, like, seriously, like, this, one of the positives I definitely have with this film is the effects. I think have gone better, you know, it's
It definitely
like,
felt
and I think it is because of the fact it's a higher budget film, probably the Phantasm film that I've heard has the most budget.
Right.
I think that's because Universal Pictures got involved, and they really tried to utilize their bigger budget here.
I think that so have you ever seen Cirque du Freak?
No, I've never.
Okay, so it's a newer movie, and the dwarfs are very similar to that movie. I can't remember.
Although I still feel like the dwarves are more like Jawas.
Yeah,
from Star
yeah.
Wars. I like even with their new makeup, it's like
They still are Jawa-ish?
They're still are Jawas. Come on, it's like, seriously, I've seen people for these movies recut the film to add the Jawa sounds.
And you can't.
Yeah, it's like, you
And
can't unsee it. You can't unsee it. It's Jawas from Star Wars. So it's like I was actually like so tempted just to, like be like, just make the Jawa sounds when we were watching it, and I did a few times. I was like, Hookini! It's just like,
It's pretty fitting.
yeah, like, again, I mean, that's one of my positives because it makes the films more fun, but we'll get to some of this stuff in my negatives, really. But it does make it fun, I will say, which that's another positive this too. This is a fun one. The first one was even more serious than this one, but this one, still serious enough.
But not overly serious.
But not as serious as the first one, and I think it does it, like, in a fun way.
Yeah.
So, like, I would compare this in terms of, like, a fun movie to, like, like, in terms of horror sequels that kind of do, like, have it be fun.
Ash vs. Evil Dead.
Like Army of Darkness, Not even that, because that's more comedic than this.
Yeah.
But I would compare it to films like Nightmare on Elm Street 3, and
Really?
Hellraiser 2.
Okay. I could see Hellraiser 2 more than Nightmare on Elm Street 3.
Yeah, but yeah, like, this is one of those 80s horror sequels that
Have fun with it.
fun with it.
It's
Still have some seriousness,
It's kind of like half of an adventure movie and half horror.
Yeah,
And then
with some
sci-fi
sci-fi.
comedy
And some sci-fi.
Yeah.
Yeah, because the original was a sci-fi horror.
Right. And this one took a few different genres into it. Right.
So, also too, like, I still like most of the cast, like, at least the cast they still got from the original. Like, the standing out to me in both these films is Angus Scrimm as the tall man.
Oh yeah.
I mean, like, he just has this presence about him.
Yeah. I totally wish we had gotten a Dracula movie from
him.
before he passed away.
Yeah, or something.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, he does seem like he could be one of the classic Universal monster.
It would have been perfect. Yeah.
And like, he does come off like that, Or like, I heard there was a reboot series called the Hammer films by Hammer Studios, which had like Christopher Lee's Dracula and stuff like that. So
That could have been cool.
yeah. So that would have been cool if he was in something like that too. So yeah, I could definitely see him being like a reboot of Dracula or something like that, or The Mummy maybe.
Yeah.
Too. I could see him being as The Mummy.
Yeah. Or even The Phantom.
Yeah, or something.
It's funny because he would have fit in almost any of those roles.
Yeah, even Frankenstein, too.
Yeah.
So yeah, he definitely comes off like that, I think.
Yeah.
But he has, he has an intimidating presence, I think.
Yeah.
Too. I mean, that's one actor I wish I would have met, but unfortunately he passed away, I think, after the filming of, or during the filming of Phantasm Ravager, which came out in 2016.
Right.
So, but yeah, so Angus Scrimm still has it, actually, after like all those years later, because the first one came out in 1979, this one 1988. So, and he still shows he's got it.
Yeah.
Like knowing that too, I think like his delivery online sells it,
Yeah, that's like
too.
the best part. Yeah.
Like, what would you say is your favorite quote of him from this movie?
I think probably the same one as you with
Where he's like where he confronted the priest
when
and
he died.
yeah, it's like, you think that when you die you go to heaven, you come to us, like that's a great line, actually. That almost sounds like something Pinhead would say.
Yeah. Almost in the same voice, in the same tone too. Yeah.
So, like, that sounds like something like from a Clive Barker production.
Yeah.
Also, I did like the other characters still too. They brought back Reggie Bannister as Reggie. He's still pretty good in this. What did you thought of him this time around?
I liked him still.
Yeah. So, like, I feel like he's like definitely going to be the comic relief of this series and that. and that, and so yeah, but he's still a likable character, I think.
Definitely.
So, from what I heard too, later in the series, he becomes almost the main star. Almost.
I can see it. He kind of reminds me of Bruce Campbell-ish kind of.
Yeah, that's what I heard too. Like even like kind of like, and funny thing about that too is like there's like some homages in this movie to
Right, yeah, there
like
was.
Evil Dead.
Was,
like
yeah.
there's like first of all there's a scene where
with the doors.
well, like not with the doors, but it's like there was that scene with the ash, like pile of ash and that. And it said, like, the ash belonged to Sam Raimi.
Right.
So they kill, which I didn't notice that until you pointed it out, because you noticed it. And it's like,
Well, and there was a scene right after that with the doors, with them going through the doors over and over again.
oh, well, actually it was with the sphere, actually, going through the door and chasing.
Oh, yeah!
So,
yeah.
and that was like a scene from Evil Dead 2,
Yeah.
actually. And it was shot in a very similar way.
Yeah.
So, like, to be honest, I wouldn't mind seeing Don Coscarelli direct an Evil Dead movie. That could be awesome. Because I think he does have a similar style.
Well, since he already burnt Sam Raimi.
that'd be awesome, you know? Because I'm not sure if there's a director attached for the new Evil Dead movie announced, Evil Dead Rise. I don't know if Don Coscarelli's still directing, but if he is, that'd be one of my choices.
Yeah.
So...
Yeah, he could probably hit it on the head.
So yeah, so they have some nice little nods like that. Let's see. Also too, like one of the things too. Again, they did recast the character Mike. So originally the actor was a Michael Baldwin in the first one. And in this one, it's portrayed by an actor by the name of James LeGros. I'd never really heard of him before. But I heard the reason they got him is because they wanted a more recognizable actor, but it's actually done more work, which I find kind of odd considering they did, like, which I'll get to my negatives with this, but it's like they did recast Mike, but they didn't choose to cast Reggie Bannister or, you know, Angus Scrimm with more recognizable names.
Well, and I don't know though. Like, think about if they had recast Angus Scrimm, they might as well made a whole different. Movie.
Honestly, who could you see being recast as the Tall Man if they were to do a remake or something?
That was alive at that time and still acting.
Well, now let's say.
Oh, dude. Like, I could see you doing it on stilts, maybe, but like actor-wise, like of the actors we have right now, I don't.
You can't see it.
No.
Like that's one of those actors you can't really see. Being replaced.
So back then, like, I really think he's comparable to Bela Lugosi, you know. But
I think maybe the closest would be Christopher Lee, maybe.
Okay.
I think maybe Christopher Lee would have been good choice.
Yeah.
Maybe
Even Doug Bradley.
Yeah. So
with hair, he would have had the real hair.
So I don't know. I think Christopher Lee would have been the closest pick.
You think so? I don't know, man.
I mean, he's kind of the old guy, you know. He has the white hair. At least he did later on.
Yeah.
So, not only that too, he was fucking Dracula at one point.
Yeah.
So he has experience with horror films. So.
I wonder what Mark Hamill could have done. Just saying, like, actually thinking about people that kind of look like the Tall Man.
What were your thoughts on the new actor they got for Mike?
I thought he did really good.
Yeah, I think he did good.
Something drove me nuts the whole movie, though, is I've seen him in other things, and I could not think of what I've seen him in. I still cannot.
I mean, we can easily check his filmography.
We need to do that, because I, like, absolutely know I've seen him in other stuff.
Yeah. Again, since I heard he was a more recognizable actor.
Yeah.
That's why they casted him.
Yeah.
Did the recast. So yeah, and I thought he did good too. You know, I will say, you know, it would have been nice to see Michael Baldwin back in that role. You know,
he's back in the third one, right?
Yeah, he's back in the third one. He's in throughout the rest of them.
That's cool.
So, because from what I heard, apparently, he's kind of hold a grudge against Phantasm II for that. So
makes sense. I mean, wouldn't you?
Yeah, it's like.
That'd be like Danielle Harris.
Yeah, that's
Halloween.
kind of something similar too, I think. So, although I think with what Danielle Harris went through was more shitty.
Yeah,
you
for
know?
sure. Well, and that was kind of her.
Yeah.
Should have been her movies.
Yeah.
Like, if you think about it.
Yeah, like that was really shitty what she
Yeah.
like what she put up with.
Yeah.
With that.
Well, and she was. Well, I don't know how we got Halloween, but she was such a great actress
Yeah.
in those. Like, those could have been her
Movies.
sequels for sure.
Yeah, definitely. So yeah. So I hate it when that happens to actors, and unless if there's a good reason for it,
Yeah.
you know, there shouldn't be,
Displacement.
displacement in that like that. So, I mean, we're still seeing that to this day.
That's kind of one of the things that like Star Wars and Harry Potter did really good with is they just kept the same actors, you know,
Yeah.
instead of changing them up.
But anyway, I thought James Lloyd Gross still did a good job as Mike.
Yeah.
You know. Again, I would have liked Michael Baldwin back just for continuity wise.
Right.
You know.
Well, and it's kind of cool too if you look at it this way. The guy that plays Reggie is named Reggie, and the guy that played Mike was named.
Yeah, I think that's what's the thing.
Yeah.
So, in fact, I know they weren't actors when they did the first Phantasm. So
The guy that's named Angus Grimm is the Grim Reaper.
yeah, I think knowing that too, I think Reggie Bannister was like some sort of teacher actually before he did Phantasm.
What?
Yeah, he was like a teacher at school originally.
Huh.
He was no actor, so
That's weird, dude.
yeah.
At like a fine arts school or something?
No, I don't think so.
Really?
Yeah,
That's weird.
yeah,
That's kind of funky for him to.
yeah.
He's like 50-something years old too in these movies. Like he
Yeah.
must have had like a midlife crisis or something.
Yeah. Yes.
Well, I'm kind of glad he did because
Yeah.
he's really good.
Yeah, he's really good in these movies.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so yeah, I do like the characters they do bring back, even with one of them being recast.
Right.
You know,
Right.
because I think the new actor did pretty good.
Yeah, he did.
Also, we mentioned a bit of the effects. So, what did we thought of the effects this time?
They were pretty awesome. Like whenever the tall man got melted with.
Yeah, at the end of the
hydrochloric
movie.
acid. Yeah.
Yeah, with the yellow
Just sweet.
acid.
Yeah.
So, like that was a definitely cool effect. I think even like the effect with the spheres got better.
Sentinels, yeah.
Yeah.
And the gold. That was another one of my pluses. Was the gold one.
Yeah, the gold.
Yeah, be just like the most beast.
Yeah.
Sentinel you could possibly.
Especially what it was able to do.
Yeah.
It's like, man, it did that guy a number.
Yeah.
You know, like seriously, that was brutal. Speaking of which, what would you say is your favorite kill of this movie?
Definitely the last
Yeah.
one with the tall man.
Yeah.
Or the one before that with the Sentinel.
Yeah, those would probably be my two favorites.
Yeah.
So,
Kind of a cool one that we got to see though was with Reggie and the shotgun, even though
Yeah.
it was super quick.
yeah,
and simple.
yeah, it was quick and simple, but it was cool. Like, he shot those dwarves,
Yeah.
like 4 dwarfs at once.
Yeah.
It's like,
With 4 shotgun shells at
Yeah.
once was super.
and just in
cool.
general, that the quadruple barrel shotgun was just cool in general.
Yeah. That's another thing I could totally see in a Evil Dead movie.
Yeah, like Ash
Yeah.
using. Not that too. If you notice too, there's a scene where Reggie is fighting kind of a Harry Warden looking motherfucker with a chainsaw. You know,
Oh yeah,
like
yeah.
you know, like there was a guy
He
wearing
even
gas
had a
mask.
Yeah, I was gonna say that. Yeah.
It was almost like if Leatherface and Harry Warden had a love child.
Yeah.
That'd be
It was pretty funny too, cause like he picked up his little chainsaw, and then that guy picked up that, like
Big.
6 foot long chainsaw.
It's it's almost like that guy was compensating for
Yeah.
something. It's like
Yeah.
yeah, it's like oh, my chainsaw's bigger than your chainsaw.
Yeah. Yeah, it was pretty funny. Man.
Yeah, like that whole thing was both cool and funny
Yeah.
too. Like it was, that's what I'm saying. It's like it takes itself seriously, but still has
not-
fun.
yeah.
But,
It's definitely not as like as somber of a tone as Hellraiser, which
Yeah.
that was my big, kind of my only problem with Hellraiser. So this is kind of nice to see it on that,
yeah.
all these films.
Let's see. Also, the pacing's pretty good with this movie still.
Yeah,
I think the Phantasm movie so far has shown to have really good pacing.
yeah,
You know, they're not incredibly long movies. Like they're like an hour and a half or so.
Yeah.
So, but they still go
They
by.
came through really quickly. Yeah.
Yeah. I think this one had a bit faster pace than the first one.
Oh yeah.
So
For sure.
I think. So yeah.
I think it was part of that was them traveling.
Yeah.
Kind of made it feel more road trip-ish.
Yeah.
So it was kind of quicker, you know.
Yeah. Let's see. Oh, I also like the music in this. It's done by the same people who composed the music the first film.
Right.
But I liked how they updated the score,
Yeah.
to the first one, which I did like the music in the first one. Actually, I like the music in these films so far. Like, I honestly would probably pick up the soundtrack CDs to both.
Have you ever seen The Labyrinth?
No, I
Or
haven't.
just Labyrinth, whatever.
I haven't.
It's very similar to that.
Huh.
Music-wise. Very similar.
So, except without David Bowie singing.
Yeah, that's like the best part to those movies.
So,
Power of the Baby.
wow. Let's
That's
see.
what he says. Haven't you ever heard the song either?
Yeah, I did
Okay.
actually. I watched the Nostalgic Greg review.
It's very sweet.
And honestly, for me, I think that's it with my positives. What about you, Josh?
Yeah, I think that's it for me too.
Also, our thoughts on the newer characters too. In this.
They were okay.
Yeah, they were
They
okay.
were kind of disposable.
Yeah, like even the love interest of
Yeah.
both Reggie and Mike.
Yeah, they were both
know.
disposable.
I mean, I thought the love interest of Reggie was more disposable.
Then, yeah.
Yeah.
It would have been cool to get a little bit more development with,
Yeah.
I can't remember her name, dude.
Who are you referring to?
Mike's.
Oh, Liz.
Yes,
Yeah.
there you go.
Yeah, a little bit more development because I thought just the whole romance angle of that was a bit.
Literally, the first time she met him, the second they see each other, they're making out.
Yeah,
that was
the
cool.
only thing I guess you could explain is maybe because they had that psychic connection.
That they
and that,
already
but
knew each other.
yeah, and so, but it's not really showcased that much. Which I guess that would be a negative or mixed aspect.
Yeah.
So we'll put that in there. But yeah, so but they were fine, I think. So,
Yeah,
like
yeah.
serviceable.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, other than being just a bit tad bit
Yeah.
disposable, they were.
Yeah, if it was any other film, I probably would be more pissed off
Yeah.
by, but this is one of those series I don't think takes itself too seriously.
Right.
I mean, seriously enough, because you could tell the filmmakers are passionate about this,
Yeah.
but not, it's kind of a fun series, I think, so far.
Yeah.
So, let's see. We do have some negatives, unfortunately. It wasn't like a perfect film or anything, but we do have some negatives, so.
Our negatives are a little bit nitpicky.
Yeah, but some of them I do think are legit, so let's get right into them. Honestly, for me, one of my negatives definitely is the fact there's tons of narration throughout the film, and it's almost as if, because all the narration is nothing but exposition dump,
Right.
and it's like,
And to be fair, though, I have read people complaining about how the first one was really hard to follow.
Yeah. But still, I think there's a way to do about that while still treating your audience like they're smart.
Yeah.
They're intelligent people. This came off as like, oh, we don't think people are going to understand it, so we're just going to spoon-fed this to them. Which is one of the things I liked about the first one, because it didn't need to do that. So, and here's the thing, I don't mind a bit of narration in film, honestly, I think what could have been good is if they had done it, during the scenes where Mike and Reggie are on the road, they could have been writing in a journal or something like that and had the narration over it,
Right.
you know, and that's it. But they had the narration throughout most of the movie, you know. It's like, come on.
It was a little bit much.
Yeah, it was a little bit much. It's like, so, and it just felt kind of degrading in terms of our intelligent level, you know.
Yeah.
At least that's how I felt with it. So that could have been toned down quite a bit, you know, like the whole narration. Let's see, another negative. Another negative is while we think some of the new characters were fine, we think a lot of them could have been developed better.
Yeah.
You know, like especially the love interest, like for Reggie and Mike. You know,
Yeah.
I think the one that had the worst with that
Reggie.
was Reggie with the character Alchemy. I think her name was.
Yeah.
You know, so it's like, yeah, like. So I think she was probably the worst in terms of like the least developed of those two characters. So, but so it's like, and knowing that too, the fact that they both fell in love with these characters just like that, it seemed.
Yeah. Well,
At least with, I will admit, at least with Liz, you could
because of
argue
the
psychic connection between her and Mike.
Yeah.
I guess you could argue that, but how can you argue with Alchemy and Reggie with that?
Right. Well,
It's
and,
like-
and I think too that because there was so little
Yeah.
character development, it was super
Yeah.
like on the tip of your nose that you knew what was happening at the end with Alchemy.
Yeah.
It was
But-
very predictable.
Yeah. And again, because they showed her body,
Right.
like corpse, and it's like early on. It's like, I guess it was through a vision or something of Mike's.
Right.
So,
Right. And they should have, like, two people ought to have been able to pull those
Yeah.
together to see that.
yeah,
They should
like,
have gotten
so-
and
I know that too. I think if they got rid of that too, like that scene,
yeah.
like, I don't know, maybe their chemistry would have been better. I don't know.
At least the ending would have been less predictable.
Yeah, and more shocking,
Yeah.
you know? Be like. So. I felt like the ending to the first one was a bit more of a surprise, you
Yeah.
know? Like. Especially with what they. Like the twist at the end of the movie and everything. So. So, yeah, I didn't. So, and that's another issue I have too, is a bit with the ending. It was still a fun ending. I did think it was a bit predictable, you know, with the twist. So, it's like, come on, you could do better than that. So, and we know because we thought the twist ending of the first film was better.
Yeah.
So, let's see. Also, let's see.
I had another negative that you actually pointed out that bothered me after you pointed it out.
What was that?
When Reggie's family dies, he gets
Oh,
over
yeah.
it. Like
Yeah.
he doesn't
Yeah, he
even
gets
mourn.
over it.
Yeah.
It's like I think there should have been a bit more friction between him and Mike.
In
You
the
know?
next 10 minutes, he's trying to get laid
Yeah.
by someone who I assume was much younger than his
Yeah.
wife. You know?
Yeah, and knowing that too, it's just like, for example, I think there should have been much more friction between him and Mike, you know, because it's like maybe he thought
Mike
Mike
set that up.
to prove a point, you know.
Yeah. I mean, wouldn't that be what you or I would think?
Yeah, you know. So,
Yeah.
like to kind of prove a point of his story, you know.
Because the day he gets out of a mental asylum,
Yeah.
his house blows up with the
So I
storm.
think there should have been more friction between them after that.
Yeah.
You know, because it's like Reggie just lost his wife and daughter, so it's like, so, but instead we got, you know, it was just like he believed it easily. It was like you knew it was going to happen before it did.
Yeah.
You know, it's like I think there should have been like, wait a second, how did you know it was going to happen? You know, like, and it's like, and since he got out of mental hospital, it's like you set this up, damn it,
Yeah.
you know.
So there was none of that, and there was not even any mourning. Which
Yeah,
is
for
very-
Reggie's. Like, you got a little bit of that? I think, for a
good
funeral
half a
scene.
second.
Half
yeah.
a second, and it's
Yeah.
like, and then, like, immediately after that, Reggie's trying to get laid,
Yeah.
you know, by somebody who's much younger than him.
Yeah.
It's like,
Yeah, that was pretty. I think that was my biggest issue with it for sure.
yeah, it's like, so I think that could have been done better,
Yeah.
you know, like, so, because it just felt like it just came, like, first of all, there wasn't much development with that or anything.
Right.
So.
Yeah, it was, that was probably my biggest issue.
So for me, it's like, if you're going to throw that in, develop on it, you know? If not, if you're just, like, honestly, you could cut the whole thing of, like, Reggie's family being killed in that.
Yeah.
And you wouldn't miss a thing.
Right.
So.
Right. Yeah, I think, I mean, it would have been, it made more sense with, like, just his house blowing up.
Yeah.
You know?
So. Or something.
Yeah.
You know, like, or even not that, you know, if they didn't have that scene in general.
Yeah.
So. I mean, it was a cool scene with the explosion and that, but it's like...
Yeah, it was definitely the Universal flexing their...
Yeah, budget.
Dollars, yeah.
So...
Yeah. I mean, really, that's pretty much all that in the first scene where...
Yeah.
Was just them showing
And
off.
they showed it twice, too. It's like, from a different angle.
They were like, oh, we have pyrotechnics!
Yeah, it's like, let's blow up a house.
Yeah.
Like,
it wasn't just like a little blow up, it was like an atomic bomb going on.
Yeah, like they had like so many pounds of dynamite in there, like ready to go.
Yeah, they were not joking.
Yeah, I mean, it was a cool effect, but I think it just, especially with the context of the scene and that, didn't jive well with the rest of the film.
Right.
So, again, like you said, even if they were to do that, if they just had to where it was just his house blown up,
right.
I would say.
Yeah, he wouldn't have anything to move on from.
Yeah.
Therefore, the context of him, I think that would have added to him and Alchemy's relationship also.
Yeah.
You know?
So.
Because a bachelor that just had his house blow up would be trying to move on in that way quicker than somebody that just lost his family.
Yeah. So, I just thought that was a bit, you know.
Yeah. Way underdeveloped.
Yeah.
Or, just something that they didn't need to try to utilize.
Yeah. I guess it was just one of those things where they were more focused on the effect, like the effects and that with that, than the story with that. You know? Because for me, you know, that's what I would have done in terms of, like, naturally moving the characters forward.
It could have been, like, now if it was a nowadays movie, it could have been a cool chance for 3D effects.
Yeah.
Like, to have the dwarfs blowing up and, like, flying out of the house, you know, and a 3D effect. It would have been sweet.
Also, another negative I have, too, is, speaking of which, just cool stuff in this movie, is that they, like, made that quadruple barrel shotgun and even
used it once.
And they only used it once. Well, technically twice, because the second time was, he tried to shoot the tall man, but it was, like, didn't work, really. When he was, when the tall man kidnapped Liz and that.
Right.
So,
or actually, that was the first time.
That was the first time. The second time is when he shot the dwarves.
Right. And then he just threw it away, though, and I didn't quite get that.
Yeah. Would you throw that away?
No. Well, a shotgun's not a single-time use thing unless you welded it shut, which why the hell would you do that, you know?
Yeah, it's like... Especially since we've seen him use it twice in the movie.
Right. So you know it's not welded shut.
Yeah.
It just doesn't make sense. Unless it, like, kicked like a mother and hurt too bad to shoot twice, you know?
Yeah.
I don't know, man.
Yeah. And knowing that, too, another thing I noticed as well, it's like with, the, what you thought was cool was the golden sphere. That was a cool thing, too, but I thought it would have had more prevalence in the story
instead of just that one time
scene. You know? Like, maybe that was the thing to use to activate the door.
Oh, yeah, they just used a regular
Yeah, they just used a regular one. Why didn't they use, like, if they're building up... It's like, that's one of the issues I have. They kind of tease some stuff, and then just almost abandon it, you know? It's like, why? Like, first of all, that's the case with the quadruple barrel shotgun. They tease that, and then they just get rid of it. The golden sentinel,
You almost called it a golden snitch, I heard it.
Yeah, that's what he called it, though.
It is a golden snitch.
Like, seriously, like, they were teasing that, too, with that awesome scene in that. And it's like, just abandon it, you know? No relevance to plot. I mean, to be honest, you could easily cut that scene out.
I mean, it was a cool scene, but...
Yeah. You could also cut the stuff with the quadruple barrel shotgun, too. You know?
Once again, it was a cool scene, but did we really need
and a cool item to have.
Right.
But it's like...
Did we really need it?
Yeah, so it, like, had no relevance to the story, I think. So, again, I think it was just one of those things where Universal was trying to milk their, you know, higher budget.
Yeah.
So, without even thinking about, you know, how it would relate to the story.
Right.
Again, like for the sphere, like the golden sphere,
Right.
they could have utilized that to be the thing that opens the portal to the Tallman's
And
world.
that's why it would have been such a pain in the ass, because it would have been almost impossible to catch. You know?
Yeah. So, yeah. Let's see. Any other negatives?
I didn't know. I think that was about
Yeah, I think that's about it with our negatives, actually. So,
I don't think we had a whole lot of mixed thoughts.
yeah, not really.
It was pretty straightforward.
Yeah. So let's just get right into our let's get right into our rating. So with that said, I'm going to get Phantasm II a 4.5 out of 5 stars.
Yep, me too.
Again, I had more fun with this than the first one. Yeah. I think this is more of a fun Phantasm movie.
Right, I think it was equally good.
Yeah, equally good.
In a different way.
Yeah. You know, I think there were some things that were improved over the first one.
Yeah.
But I also think there was some stuff that I think the first film did better with.
Like no exposition.
No exposition. I think when it did show stuff in that, you know, they did utilize it with the story. Like, for example, remember Reggie playing his guitar and using the, like, I forgot what it's called. It's like...
The pick?
Yeah, the guitar pick or whatever. It was like kind of like the things that was the portal to the Tallman's world.
Right.
And they utilized that at the end of the movie. So, and that they didn't just abandon that, you know, like that.
Right.
They actually, like, when they do T stuff, they do utilize it within the context of the story.
Instead of making a really cool concept and throwing it in the trash.
Yeah. Like, and maybe only using it, like, once or twice, and it's like, damn. So, yeah. So the first film didn't do that stuff too. Also, I like the more ambiguity of the first one.
Yeah.
You know, where it's like there was more like, you know, you don't know what's going on and that, which I think made it creepier too.
Well, it was kind of fun in that way because it was more kind of a mystery.
Yeah, and with that in mind, I think the twist ending was better in the first one.
Yeah.
With that in mind. But because of the fact the studio felt like, you know, because people were complaining that the first one was too confusing, they tried to spoon feed this one to the audience.
Yeah. And this one definitely did not need spoon fed.
No.
It was pretty straightforward.
Yeah, so the fact...
If you didn't get this one, you need to just, like, curl up and forget it, you know?
Yeah. I mean, yeah, it's just like...
Yeah.
So... I think it was a case of, like, Universal trying to pander to more of a mainstream audience.
Definitely.
So, which again, I guess, you know, you have to get with the film, get as many people involved, like, to see it.
As you
but
can.
But here's the thing, you know, if you, like, there's a certain audience for certain films, you know.
If you sell it to the wrong audience, then
Yeah, I heard certain studios are pretty bad with that, like A24 films and stuff like that. They would advertise their trailers and that to be something for one type of audience, and then they go see it and they don't like it when it should have been meant for this other audience, you know.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's why I heard. So it does happen with studios and that. So yeah, and I don't like it when they do that. You know, I wish trailers were more honest about stuff.
Yeah.
You know, and that. So. That's why I've re-edited some trailers and stuff like that too.
To make them more honest.
Not just to make them more honest, but also because a lot of trailers are pretty spoiler filled. You know, almost sometimes give the whole movie.
Yeah.
So it's like, why bother going to pay money to see it when you just watch it there?
Well, and that kind of actually pisses me off because I hate that whenever people or businesses like will give away like the ending of something that you were really looking forward to seeing. You know?
Yeah, it's like at that point, it's like, why even bother watching the movie now, or at least going to the theater to pay for it?
Right.
You know, pay a lot of money to see it. So, I mean, one of the biggest offenders of that lately is like stuff like the Black Christmas remake from last 2019.
Yeah.
That was within their first trailer, mind you.
Yeah.
So, the fact that was within their first trailer and they spoiled, I heard like 95% of that film.
Yeah.
It's like,
Yeah, it's pretty stupid.
like
yeah,
seriously.
You already knew who the killer was and everything.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
And just everything going on in the film. It's like, so you couldn't even have that bit of intrigue, you know, going to watch it.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's just, sometimes with modern films and that, it's just like, you know. But yeah, honestly, we did have fun with Phantasm II.
Definitely looking forward to the third one.
Yeah, Phantasm III, Lord of the Dead.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I'm looking forward to the other films. I heard
There's 6 now?
there's 5.
Is there 5?
The last one to come out was in 2016.
Okay, that's right.
And I think that was the last film that Angus Scrimm starred in before he passed away.
I think they should leave it at that, because
I did heard when they were doing the 5th one, they talked about even maybe doing a 6th one.
yeah, but without Angus Scrimm.
I mean, I think it could be done. I just would have to see the rest of the films and maybe see how you could do another one.
Yeah.
So, because if you're going to do another one, do it in a smart way, I think. You know?
Yeah. Especially with your main character being...
Yeah.
Or one of your main characters no longer being with the...
At least the actor for it. So. So, yeah. So, definitely when, over the course of us watching these films, I'll definitely think of what you could do with a 6th one.
Right. Come up with a kind of a plan.
Yeah.
It's cool. It's fun for us to do that.
Yeah, like, we always like coming up with pitches and stuff like that for stuff. Even some of that stuff I've been utilizing some of my fan films and that.
Yeah.
So,
it's kind of a neat little hobby of ours, huh?
yeah. In fact, actually, too, we've actually thought of a concept and pitch for, which we have thought about making a pitch video of this. For the upcoming HBO series for Harry Potter. So, like, that's going to premiere on HBO Max. We have thought of a pitch.
Yeah.
So, we will do a pitch video and try to send that to the people involved. So, I doubt where our pitch is going to get accepted.
Yeah, we're just doing it as a hobby.
Yeah, I know that too. It's like, if it's, I mean, you never know.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, so.
If it was 30 or 40 years ago, I could see it totally.
Yeah, but still, it's like you never know.
Yeah.
You know, some people do get lucky
Yeah.
and stuff. So it's like I mean, I wouldn't have any words to say if our pitch got accepted.
Yeah, pretty speechless for sure.
Yeah. So, and that'd be like my first
what we
real.
get ourselves into.
Like that'd be our first real gig.
Yeah,
with
that
that.
would be something.
So, but anyway, so I think that's about it with our thoughts on this movie and that.
Yeah.
So, again, definitely excited to check out the rest of the Phantasm series.
Maybe this will be our going thing with Phantasm is to do podcasts.
Yeah. I mean, if this works well,
Yeah.
you know, if it works well, then we might do not just podcasts for these movies, but maybe other ones. Or just like maybe podcast commentaries or something like that too. So,
Yeah.
or even like podcasts about other subjects too,
Yeah.
like with movies. So
this was definitely a good time for us. So.
yeah.
Yeah.
So I guess we'll just see how this does.
Alright.
If it does do well,
Maybe
then
we'll
we'll
continue it.
and even at times better than my movie reviews and that,
Yeah.
then we'll continue doing a lot more of these.
Yeah.
So if not, then well, we might do one every once in a while.
Just because it's fun for us.
Yeah, or if we have problems with like these damn batteries. Like seriously, these batteries I think suck.
Yeah. That battery is
Yeah.
pretty trash.
Yeah. I
Dog-
mean,
you know what Alan's new favorite thing is?
What?
It's dog water.
yeah, so
It's dog water.
that's it for this review. Thank you guys for watching, and Boy!